Happy Sunday. I don't post on Sundays anymore, kind of a lot, but I thought about this one this morning for real because I never covered it. So let's talk about the narcissist pretending to have a job, a J-O-B, a J-O-bizzle. Anyway, alright, yeah, so did you notice, because not all narcs are like this, where they, like, don't work. I mean, I can tell you my dad is a narc that, like, works, but he does only shack up with women that have, like, more money than him, so that eventually he can, like, literally fuck them out of their money. You know, like, in the bedroom, like, fuck them out of their money, right? So this doesn't apply to every narc, but if a narc does have a job, check and see if your job's better, because more than likely that's what they want to do. They want to, like, fuck you out of your money, right? Now, as far as my ex-narc, and what I've seen with a lot of them is he used to pretend to have a job, or he would get a job for, like, the tiniest amount of time. I'm talking about like 2 weeks. And then he'd come up with some lame ass excuse as to why he had to leave, because they were disrespectful or something really crazy happened or whatever it was. He could not stay at this job, right? And then he'd be like, oh, I'm looking for another one. Alright, so, you know, I understand that. You know, as your partner, things happen, shit happens. Maybe one of you loses your job and the other one is like, okay, I'll be supportive of that because I know that you're looking, right? You're looking for a job, right? And he would, like, let me watch him fill out these applications online, right, with his little phone. And then what would happen every single time? He would say, he's going on an interview. Okay, and now, of course, I worked, like, a lot, so I would be, like, at work, and while I'm at work, he'd be like, okay, well, my interviews say, like, at 1, and I don't get off of work until 9:30 at night, alright, so I'm assuming, even though you get that text, like, babe, on the way to my interview, that you're going to an interview, right? Was he going to the interviews? No. I later found out after the discard that not only had he not been going to those interviews, he was going to fuck prostitute, a particular prostitute, as well as the one other woman that actually had a job that he, like, left and went to after that, right? So, I say that to say this. If you meet, because when I met him, he claimed he was working, right? But the day that I met him, I was like, oh, what's up? How you doing today? He was like, oh, you know, I mean, I ain't got shit to do today. Never trust a man or a woman, for real, anybody that says, I don't have shit to do today. Because there is always shit to do. I'm sorry, there is. If you're, like, someone that likes to go home and do nothing because you work a lot, I get that. But but you would have to ignore shit to do to go home and do nothing. Because there is literally always shit to do. Pay a bill, even if it's go to a yoga class, even if it's take yourself out to lunch, even if it's going to get a cup of coffee, even if it's just, like, hitting up a library or, you know, typing a paper for some reason or whatever you gotta, there's always shit to do. So when he said, yeah, I ain't got shit to do today, he literally didn't have shit to do. That is beyond a red flag. Never fuck with someone that never has shit to do. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to take time and make time for people, but when people have nothing but time, that's a major problem, and that's a giant red flag that they don't do shit. That's why there's nothing to do. And he was using those fake interviews to go fuck people. Okay? Hence the reason I'm like, well, why aren't you getting a job? It's been a month. Why aren't you getting a job? It's been 3 months. Why aren't you getting a job? 6 months has passed. Like, what the fuck's happening with you? Right? Now, granted, this is before COVID hit, so you can't say that the economy, like, plummeted and shit because people were sick. You can't say that, right? This is way before COVID hit. This is like the end of 2018 going into 2019, right? How do you not have shit to do? How are you not getting a job? That shit didn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? And he always had a lame-ass excuse. When that narc, or anybody, which more than likely is a narc, always has some lame-ass excuse as to why they're not getting hired, and you're looking them up on, like, case searches and shit to see, like, if they have a criminal record, which is number one. When you meet somebody, if you're going to decide to date them, look their ass up immediately so you can just figure out what the fuck they're about. Because they might have mad-ass records. But aside from that, he was just out fucking and cheating and pretending like he had these interviews, when really, even if he did actually have an interview, he was ditching them to go cheat and fuck other people. Alright? So, he was just like Tommy from Martin. The Martin Show. Y'all remember that shit if you're an 80s and 90s person? Like, you ain't got no damn job, Tommy, right? What do you do? How are you existing? You don't got no job, right? They don't never get a job. And but I tell you one thing they'll do, though. And I'm going to let you guys go because it is Sunday. And tomorrow's a holiday, so happy MLK Day tomorrow. Please relax if you can. But another thing they'll do, though, is they won't have a job. But guess what they do have? They know exactly when your ass gets paid. And they know exactly how much you make. And as soon as you get home, at least in my case, as soon as I would get home on payday, he would instantly, oh, hey, babe. So, hey, can I have $40 to get a da-da-da-da-da? Some weed? Can I have $40 to get a da-da-da? Can I, well, I can't pay my phone bill right now, you know, because I'm looking for a job and all these interviews are plummeting and crashing, right? The interviews you didn't go on, like shit. Can I mean, maybe you can just, like, help me pay that? Or, I really need some new pants, or I really would like a new, like, I'm his mama and shit. They want a mama. They don't want a girlfriend, a wife. They want a mother. And even though that dumb bitch is still alive, she never took care of him well, and she's never going to. So what they're looking for is a replacement for all the shit, to make up for all the dumb shit that bitch failed to do, right? And they know when you get paid. Let's say you're on government assistance. Okay, let's say the 1st and I'm just going to go with the 1st and the 15th because that's like paychecks, I think, right? Say every 1st and 15th you get temporary cash assistance, or you get food stamps or something. I bet that motherfucker knows how much you should get and when you're going to get it. And I bet they're like already planning out what they're going to eat and what they're going to buy when you get some shit that you stood in like a line, a long ass line for the government to even apply for, let alone probably got treated like shit by the government workers because you even needed it, right? And that's how that shit goes. And back to the regular job. And if you got a job like at Target or anywhere, I had a job at Petco, right? Petco Unleashed. So I've always worked with animals in general, but at the time I had a job at Petco Unleashed. Even though I busted my ass as a manager and had to count money in the night and all that shit and had to go and open and close the store, he knew them hours, and he would cheat within all them hours, not look for no job, okay? And then be right there every 2 weeks to be like, can I get some money for it? Yeah, can I get that money, though? And then when they meet a dumb bitch who doesn't know anything about them, that has more money, like what he did, then they'll just leave you for the bitch with more money until she figures it out and gets rid of his dumb ass. The bitch he left me for at the time, even though he was fucking a dude and a prostitute, hit him in the back of the head with a fucking hammer when she found out who he was. She actually did do that, though. So I wouldn't doubt the brain damage that's probably going on, added to the demonic entity that's within him. So anyway, I just wanted to touch base on that. But yeah, if somebody doesn't bring anything with them other than their dick in their hand, don't date them. Okay? Alright. Oh, and if you're a dude, if that bitch brings nothing but her pussy and a fucking overnight bag, leave that bitch in the street where you found her, okay? Alright, love you. Happy Sunday.